Hello students, I am Hasina Bibi, Assistant Professor CSE Department, Rohini College of Engineering and Technology. I am presenting this video for the subject operating systems, and we are going to see the topic evolution of operating system and computer system organization from the first unit. And in the video we are going to see the first topic, evolution. Evolution means we will study about the various computing system configurations were used in the history of computer systems and how the operating system were introduced. The evolution of operating system is explained in various stages like serial processing system, simple batch systems, multi-programmed batch systems, and time-sharing systems. Serial processing systems, they were used with the earliest computers during the period of 1940s to the middle of 1950s. In this system, the programmers directly interacted with the hardware. There were no operating system and interface tools were used. And the computers were run from the console consisting of display lights, toggle switches, and some form of input device and printer device were used. And the machine code form of the program will be used. The machine code were loaded into the input device by using some card reader. If any error occurred on the program processing, the error condition was indicated with the help of lights. And if the program proceeded to the normal completion, the output will be printed on the paper with the help of printer. So, in the serial processing system have produced many problems like scheduling. In the scheduling, a user might sign up for an hour and finish in 45 minutes. That is, much time is taken by the user to start up the installations and sign up process. So this would result in wasting of computer processing time. Also setup time. Too long setup time is needed for the programmer to execute a single program. At that time the program were called as a job. Job involved loading the compiler along with the program into the memory. And the processes are the saving the compiled program and then loading, then linking together and producing the object program. All those operations taken much time. So this is one of the disadvantage. So to overcome the disadvantage of serial processing systems, next batch systems were introduced. Okay. So the batch systems were introduced to improve the utilization of the system. The idea behind the simple batch systems were, here one piece of software were used known as the monitor. Okay. The monitor only done the operations of operating system. With the help of this particular OS, monitor OS, the user no longer has direct access to the processor. So instead, the user have to submit their job onto the computer, onto some sort of input device to the computer operator. Computer operator will batches the job, group the jobs together into batches, and he will place the job or the batch of jobs into the input device, and that will be processed by the monitor. Okay. So in the batch systems also, the user cannot directly access to the processor. They will submit their work in the form of jobs into the system, and the computer operator only can load the job into the system with the help of particular input device. Okay. And each program is constructed to branch back to the monitor, and the monitor will take the necessary time to complete the batch of jobs. Okay. The monitor controls the sequence of events. Okay. Monitor will be in the main memory, and the monitor will use some sort of memory for the execution. Okay, so this portion of memory on which the monitor is stored into the main memory is called as resident monitor. And the monitor also consists of some utilities. Utilities mean system programs and common functions that will be loaded. And during the submission of the jobs, the monitor reads the jobs one at a time from the input device. And when the monitor read the input, the current job will be placed in the user program area, and the control will be passed to the job, and the job will get processing. So when the job is completed, it returns the control to the monitor, okay, which immediately reads the next job. When one job completed, the monitor will take the next job and assign the next job for the execution. Okay, then whenever the jobs are completed its processing, the results of each job will be sent to the output device such as printer for delivery to the user. Okay, so here we can see the computer operator will input the jobs through the input device, which will be processed by the monitor. Monitor is nothing but the small operating system used at that period. The monitor will do the necessary allocations and give the execution control. Whenever the jobs are completed, and the results will be processed by the monitor, and monitor will send the result to the particular printer device for the delivery to the user. The processor will be executing the instructions from the main memory portion, on which along with the monitor. When one job have completed, the processor will call the next job by using the branch instruction, and the monitor also instruct the processor to continue the execution at the start of the user program. So the user jobs will be present on the user program portion of the main memory. Okay, so here we are seeing the memory having one portion called as user area. Another one portion is having monitor. Monitor means operating system code, which consists of different modules for the operations like interrupt processing module, device drivers, code, job sequencing, control language interpreter. So these are all the different portions of the monitor. Then in the batch systems, each job will be written with one particular language, job control language. Okay, it is one special type of programming language which can be processed by the monitor. And also this monitor supports the hardware features like memory protection, timer, privileged instructions and interrupts. Then the next type of systems were multi-program batch systems. So the previous systems, single batch systems, execute the jobs sequentially. So much of the processor time is wasted, and the processor sits in idle for some times. So the processor time is wasted. And this multi-programmed approach is used to improve the processor utilization by allocating multiple jobs at a time. Okay, so this approach is otherwise called as multi-programming or multitasking. Normally, with uni-programming approach, we can see the diagram of uni-programming. Whenever the program executes on the processor, a program can't execute continuously. During the running state, program will go to waiting state for some reasons. Okay, we will study about the various reasons, like whenever the program needs some runtime data, runtime variable, it will go to the waiting state, or whenever the program needs some resources during the running stage, it will go to the waiting state. and after it got all the necessary data or runtime variables or resources, then only it can again come to the running state. So if a system is uniprogramming system, if the running program goes to waiting state, means the processor will be in idle stage. But if the system is scheduled with two programs, multi-programmed with two programs, we can see program A is running. When the program A goes to the waiting state, the processor will execute the program B. So both programs are executing parallelly by the processor, so the CPU utilization can be improved. Okay, the idle time can be reduced. And this is the example for multi-programming with three programs. Here program A, program B and program C were executing on the CPU. Okay, when one program is running, other programs will be waiting for the execution. Okay, so in this fashion, different programs can be executed parallelly and in interleaved manner on the processor. So the multi-programming approach providing this kind of executions, and the corresponding operating system schedules the processor accordingly to get execute on the CPU. And next type of operating system were time sharing systems. In the time sharing systems, the processor total time is shared among multiple users. Okay, multiple users simultaneously access the system through the terminals, and with the operating system interleaving the execution of each program in a short burst or quantum of completion. Okay, each user will be allocated with the quantum of time period, and the particular user can be allotted with the can execute their work with the allotted time period only. Okay, if there are n users going to use on a system, on a time sharing system, 1 by n of the effective compute, and each user can use, if n number of users are using the system, each user can use 1 by nth of the effective computer capacity. Here we are seeing the comparison in between the batch multi-programming system and the time sharing system. In the multi-programming system, it is used to maximize the processor utilization. Time sharing system is used to minimize the response time. Response time is the time at which a particular job have completed. Okay. So time sharing system is used to speed up the executions, and the batch multi-programming systems using some job control language commands. The program will be written on that with the help of that particular format. And time sharing system, here the commands were entered by the user at the terminals. So that's all about the computer system evolution. Okay, so in the modern period, we are using the operating system with the efficient responsibilities and high capacity, and more advanced features were used nowadays. Okay, so in this topic, in the evolution, we have seen different systems were used in the earlier periods with the different configurations. Now we can move to the next topic, that is computer system organization. Computer system organization deals with the structure of the computer system. Okay, so we are going to see some common concepts like the computer system consists of one or more CPUs. Normally, system will have a single CPU, but based upon the application area, in some systems more than one CPUs were installed, and the number of device controllers may be connected. Device controllers means each input-output device will have its own device controller to control their activities and to interconnect it with the CPU. And the device controllers and the CPUs were connected through the common bus, and also the memory will be connected in between them. Okay, And whenever the computer system is started, whenever the system is powered up or rebooted, initially one program will be loaded into the main memory. So the initial program is called as bootstrap program. Okay, so whenever we switch on our computer, the bootstrap program will be loaded into the main memory. That is called as booting of a system booting. So after that only we can we can see our programs and we can do further operations. Okay, so the bootstrap program is stored with the computer hardware in ROM memory or electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. So the first program executed on the computer system is bootstrap program. And the loader, normally we will study about the system software tools. Loader is one of the software tool which is used to load our program into the memory for the execution. Here one particular loader is used to load the bootstrap program into the memory. That loader is called as bootstrap loader. Okay, the loader which is used to load the bootstrap program into the memory is called as bootstrap loader. Okay, so bootstrap loader loads the operating system. Actually the bootstrap program is nothing but the portion of the operating system which will be executed initially when the computer is switched on. Okay, the important part of the one important part of the operating system is called as bootstrap program. Okay, so the bootstrap loader loads the bootstrap program, the bootstrap program or operating system, and it will be started execution. Once the kernel is loaded and executing, once the operating system starting initialization program is loaded and execution, it can start providing services to the system and its users. So after the execution of bootstrap program only we can start our operations. Okay, and now we are seeing the diagram and the different components of a computer system, and the major component is the CPU. Then if we are having the secondary storage devices like disk drives, and the disk controller will be there. The disk controller is used to connect the disk drives with our system. Then some of the input output devices are connected with the CPU with the help of USB controllers. USB means universal serial bus controller. It provides the serial communication in between the devices and with the CPU and memory. Okay, so the mouse, keyboard, printers can be connected through the USB controller. Then the monitor, since the monitor having the display and the display, it acts as the output device. So the monitor will be connected with the help of graphics adapter with the CPU. And so all those input output controllers, memory and CPU are connected with the help of system bus. So already we have studied something about the storage structure. The main memory is the memory that can be only directly accessible to the CPU. So the executable codes only have to be present in the main memory, then only it can be accessible by the CPU. The main memory is implemented with the help of semiconductor technology, and the RAM memory is used as especially the dynamic random access memory will be used as the main memory. ROM is the memory which is used for some other reasons, which is used to static programs such as bootstrap program, such as bootstrap loader. Okay. Actually the main memory is too small when compared to the secondary memory. So whenever necessary we will need the secondary memories, but main memory can store the data needed by the CPU. So the main memory is volatile storage device, that is when the computer power is turned off, the data will be lost. Okay, to get the permanent storage we will use secondary storages, The secondary device storage is used as the extension of main memory. Okay. So along with the main memory, cache memory will be used with the processor to improve the performance of the processor. And we are seeing the hierarchy of memory devices. The registers are nothing but the storage areas present in the CPU. Cache memory after that, next to the CPU, cache memory will be there, then main memory. So the cache memory will be present near to the CPU in between the main memory and the registers. Then solid state disk drives will be there, magnetic disk drives will be there, optical disk drives will be there, different types of secondary storages can be used. Okay. But during the execution or during the processing, the data have to be placed on the main memory, since the CPU can contact with the main memory only. Input-output structure. Okay. So the operating system, the main responsibility of the operating system is to manage the input-output devices. Okay. So each device will have the device controllers. The device controllers will be connected through the common bus to the CPU. Device controllers are responsible for moving the data in between the peripheral devices and controls the device storage. So the operating system will have the device driver for each device controller. Okay. Device driver is the code which is necessary for each and every device controller available in a system. So whenever a system starts the input-output operation, the device driver loads the appropriate registers with the device controller code. Okay. Then only the controller can start the data transfer from the device to its local buffer. Then only the data can be transferred from the device into the CPU. One of the way of performing the data transfer in between the CPU and the input-output device is interrupt mechanism, that is called as interrupt driven input-output. Any input-output device will intimate the CPU and get the service from the CPU by sending the interrupt signal. So as a result of the interrupt signal, the CPU will execute the device code. That is happening in the interrupt driven input-output. Another one modern technology is called as direct memory access, in which DMA module will be there instead of CPU. The DMA module will conduct the data transfer operations in between the devices and the memory without the intervention of CPU. Okay. Okay. So that are all the common things we have discussed about the computer system organization. Now we can see the possible university questions coming in this topic. Differentiate the batch systems and the time sharing systems. Differentiate simple batch systems and multi-programmed batch systems. Explain the operating system evolution and describe the concepts involved in computer system organization. Okay. Thank you all. Can see you in the next video.